Welcome back. The video is going to be lengthy, so maybe you would enjoy a good cup of your favorite beverage while you're listening and watching. Lately, my landscapes were insistent. When I started my sketchbook series on happiness, one was the landscapes, and I showed you a sketch of Parker Ridge, and I have to say that this sketch keeps popping in my mind constantly, so I thought, well, I better do it. So I hope you will enjoy the video, and like you, I don't know what will come out of it. I have no idea. It's been so long since I painted landscapes, and together we'll watch what happens. It could be a total disaster, but I think that no matter what will happen, I will enjoy the process, and whether it works out or not, I will be learning. So let's see what happens, and I'll come back at the end and talk about the results. I'm crossing my fingers that it will be good, but I do not know what to expect. See you later. For this painting, I'm using Arches paper, and the paper is apparently can take a lot of beating, a lot of water, and so I'm using that paper for the first time in front of you, so I am experimenting and I do not know what to expect. Another thing that I'm using for the first time is the paintbrushes. I always use the Reservoir paintbrush, and I love working with those. Yeah, so I will let this dry because I do see the paper is kind of just a little bit moving around, and that's not what I want, so I know. But I mean, compared to a lot of the papers that I've been using, this is like super, super really nice. Now I will let the watercolor do its job. It will continue to react, and colors will start to blend on their own. I will let this be, and tomorrow I will see what will happen, and I'll continue at that point. This has been interesting, really. It's the first time that I'm using this paper, and I am happy with what's happening right now. Tomorrow I'll see if I made a mess or if it's going to be all right. Robert is out this morning at a bicycle race to take photography, and it's pouring rain in Ottawa, so I don't know how that will turn out for him. But here I am inside. It's lovely and it's quiet, and I am just thinking about what to do next. It's interesting working with this mop brush. It's as if I'm learning how to move. That's it, I'm learning how to move. I like that. It's interesting, it retains a lot of water, so you can play with it. If I compare with my sketch, this peak is not high enough, so it should go further that way and come closer to the tip of this one. And this here does not have enough definition, so I will have to fix that. And there's a kind of beige, it's probably snow, just between these two here. I'll need to rework this also. So I need to fix these two here. This needs to go more peak instead of flat, so this one and this one, I need to fix that. I still have a bit of work to do. If I don't fix this, this looks like it's all at the same level and it's not. So I will raise this one. Is it scary? Of course it is. So I'll do it lightly. The thing with this landscape is that there's no details. It's all about shape and color. So when Robert and we were climbing Parker Ridge, because this is the view, as we're climbing Parker Ridge and we turn back, this is the view that we see, and that we saw, I should say. And on the other side, when you arrive at the top, it's the magnificent Saskatchewan Glacier. And when I think of that view, I always choke a little bit, because the world is so beautiful, and to see things like that, it just makes you realize how little we are, and the beauty that exists in this world is beyond anything that we can do or imagine. And so Parker Ridge for me is very special, especially when when Robert said when we were on top of it, he said, I was looking at this view and I was just, and it was as if we were But I don't think it was as if we were up in the clouds. We were so high. And yeah, so Robert, like I was in awe and in tears, really. And then Robert said, "Turn around." And I couldn't hear him because the wind and it was cold. And it was, "Turn around." And I finally turned around. And then I saw the Saskatchewan Glacier. And my goodness, I thought I was going to pass out. The beauty of this is beyond. Oh, I loved it. But I was mesmerized by these peaks, was all around us. And the beauty, it's very hard to explain how little we feel. So that's what Parker Ridge means to me. It's this grandiose beauty of wilderness, and it's just, this is a planet. We live on a planet, It's just beautiful. Anyways, okay, so what's next? I'm talking and I forget what I should be doing, so. So this is not about making an exact replica of my sketch, because I use the sketch as a reference. I love mountains, and to paint them makes me really feel really good. When it's totally dry, I might do some tweaking with it, but basically that's the painting. So for now, I will remove the tape and give you a better idea of how the scene looks like. Done. I have to admit that I'm very pleased with that. It has an abstract feel that that I love, because you see no details in there. It's just shape, color. I am so impressed with the watercolor medium, and I know I have a tendency to use it a bit like when I paint with oils. But I think a watercolor has a lot more to give than what we assume it will. I don't know if I'm expressing myself correctly, but I know to paint in layers is really beautiful with watercolor. That's the charm of it, the transparency, the light, the fact that you can layer paint is just beautiful. But you can also push it and go dark. And I have a tendency to like it. I like, well, nature is very powerful in colors, and there's a lot of dark colors in there, and I relish in those colors. So the fact that I can do this with watercolor makes me so happy, because I now know that I'll be able to do powerful landscapes with, when I say powerful, I mean use color that will be that have an impact, a visual impact. And what I like about this scene is, well, I did it rather quickly, which really surprises me. It's just shapes and masses of color. And that is really how, when you climb Parker Ridge, you turn around and there's no way you can focus on details. It's just too vast. It's immense. I love this. This is the view that we had as we were climbing. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. I learned a lot, and I am so excited about this paper. This is just beautiful paper. I love it. And I will say that the mop brush, I never used that one, and wow. Obviously there will be more watercolor landscape paintings coming up. So this is the final painting, and the study, I should say. And I thought that perhaps I could talk about the whole process, if you're interested. So I have to say that I love that paper. That Arches 300 pounds, or I think it's 640 GSM. That is a beautiful paper to work with. I used a lot of water. It is buckling a little bit because I really used a lot of water. I wanted to see how far I could go, and I now know I have valuable information for my future paintings now. So that is good. Another thing that I really enjoyed working with is the mop brush from Raphael. A very fun tool to work with. I had never worked with a brush like that. And it's very versatile, and it holds a lot of water. So, but you can play, you can manipulate the amount of water that you're letting out. So I found this very useful, and I normally paint with my Pentel water reservoir, because I do go outside and outdoors and paint from that, and the reservoir paintbrush. The fun part is that you don't need to carry water with you. It's in the reservoir, so it's very practical for that purpose, and also I do just about everything I want with that paintbrush. And even inside, when I work in the studio and I paint my illustrations and some small watercolor or gouache paintings, I use my reservoir because it's a beautiful way of working. I love it. But learning how to use this one has been an eye-opener, and believe me, I will be using it from now on. The other thing that I really enjoyed doing is, when I did the sky, first I applied water on the surface first, and then I went and added the pigment. But, and I was also, I don't know if you noticed in the video, but I was on an angle. So what happens is that gravity does a lot of work. So I love the way the sky ended up. It feels natural. It really does. And when I used the tissue paper to make some shapes in the sky, clouds or whatever, give it a certain atmosphere. It was really pleasant doing that. Another thing that I was really happy to work with is the Daniel Smith watercolors, and I just loved it. And the beauty, what I learned about this experiment is that I did several layers of raw umber for my mountains. And when you start with the raw umber, if you start light, the color is light, and when it dries, it's lighter. And so you have to add several layers to get to a certain point. But I did that. I did several layers, and then I began to add like a lot of pigment to my mountains. And so the darker I went with a lot of pigment, and I just love it. I realize, and I do it on purpose, aquarelle has, the beauty of aquarelle is the beauty of watercolor. It's the transparency of the color. It's the lightness you can layer over and over until you reach your point. It's the transparency. It's the vibrancy. You see the light through even through the layers, and you can make really wonderful blends. And the water, if you add the pigment and there's enough water, the watercolor will continue to work together, and there's it's magical. The colors will blend together, and you end up with a product where your hand didn't touch it. The paper and the pigment and the water did the work. I don't know if I explain myself properly, but that's how I see it happen. For me I want to do landscapes, watercolor landscapes, and I like to work with gouache, okay? I love to mix, to work with the two, and that's what I did here. So my intention is to arrive to a point where I feel that my watercolor landscapes will have the feel of an oil painting. I know I'm asking for a lot, but doing this proves to me that I probably will be able to achieve the way I want to do my watercolor landscapes, and watercolor and gouache landscapes. So to me, this is a wonderful experiment. It was a real pleasure to do the mountains. I wanted to paint this for the longest time. And I've been trying all kinds of mediums lately. And so going back to my, and I've been doing a lot of interior scenes and flowers and things like that. And going back to this, to doing a landscape was a bit nerve-wracking for me, because when you stop doing something for a little while, there's a period, an adjustment period. And I thought, well, will I be able to do it? But it's, I did forget a few things at first, and then it came back, and I was very, I felt so much, it was a thrill to paint those mountains. And I will say I used a lot of raw umber for this. I did not do a good job in this area here, and if I'm being honest here, I really missed my lights here. I missed that part. Does not work well for me. I missed something. Perhaps I could fix it, and probably I could fix it. But for me, I look at that as this is a study, and I learned from it. To go over it and work it to death, it's not what I'm after. This is, to me, kind of a note, a mental note, or a visual note, I should say, that I missed on my lights. So that's another good thing that I learned about this study. That feels good. I also like is that sliver, white sliver here between the two, the raw umber and this color. It does make a beautiful transition. It breaks. It's beautiful. I love it. And also the snow on some of the peaks. I like that very much. The Holbein gouache, I used it here to cover what I was trying to bring it, and it was too muddy. The colors became too muddy, and I thought, well, I'm going to add a gouache over this, but it didn't work. But this here, I have a layer of watercolor, and then I applied a thin layer of gouache, and I really love that effect there. So I do tend to use, if I find that watercolor does not really give me what I want, I will go to gouache. So I like to do that when I do my watercolor paintings. Before I end this video, there is something I would like to say, and it is thank you. Thank you for being here, for watching my videos, for commenting and encouraging me to continue to do what I'm doing right now. It's not easy for me to produce videos, and I always wonder, would this be interesting or not? But I also take a lot of pleasure doing it. It's kind of a mystery for me because I'm doing something that is really out of my comfort zone, and I don't know, is it interesting or not, but I love it. I really love making videos, and I find it so encouraging when I get a new subscriber, and like I did last week, I got my 30th subscriber, so thank you. And so to me, it's kind of, okay, we're a small group, but I think it's cozy, and people are lovely. They write lovely comments, and if they don't write it on my YouTube channel, I receive emails, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for being there, encouraging me and supporting me to continue. I also have my Francophone supporters, and I want to say thank you to them too. À vous qui regardez cette vidéo, je veux vous dire merci. Merci d'être là, merci de m'encourager, de m'envoyer vos commentaires, d'écouter et de me faire des suggestions, de m'encourager à continuer. Je l'apprécie énormément. Ça fait du bien, ça fait chaud au cœur quand je reçois un commentaire, et je trouve ça pas mal excitant quand il y a un nouvel abonné sur ma chaîne YouTube. C'est encourageant et ça me fait énormément plaisir. Gênez-vous pas, écrivez-moi en français, je vous réponds en français, je suis francophone. Alors, merci d'être là, merci de m'encourager, et j'espère que vous allez continuer à regarder mes vidéos dans le futur. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Until then, please take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Alors, je vous dis bonjour et à la prochaine, et entre-temps, prenez bien soin de vous. À bientôt.